usual suspect. And we are back once again for the finals of the FA Cup. We're into halftime and Manchester City do find themselves a goal behind. Remember, the other 2024 losing finalists having lost to Man United. So, can they get the job done today? That's what we're going to be looking at, along with the key moments from the opening half there. So, allow me to do the honors of having our audios tested so that we do not get any false start whatsoever. And that's what we are looking to do. That's what we are looking to do. I hope we get this right. I hope yes. Looks like our audios are good. Our audios are good, are well set. Just to confirm. Yeah. Anyways, we are good to go. Welcome back to the channel to yet another live broadcast from your usual suspect, Robert Kesakos, here on Footballtribeug. It's been amazing having you over the course of this week, as well as coming into the weekend. For those of you that were with us much earlier on in the day, we did come on at about 11:48 a.m. And we discussed the preview for this particular final of the FA Cup. We were here. We also discussed the preview for Arsenal versus Newcastle. That game does come at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, and much more. We discussed transfers and all the news that was making the rounds in as far as transfers are concerned. But it's halftime, and Crystal Palace do lead the game by a goal to nil. That goal scored by Belechi Ize, with Daniel Munoz providing the assist. That was in the 16th minute. But Manchester City have missed a penalty on the other side, and the culprit there was Omar Mamush. But take nothing away from Dean Henderson, because I thought it was a very, very impressive penalty. When you look at the statistics, it's been about 8 attempts on goal for Manchester City and just 3 for Crystal Palace, and that has been quite a very, very dominant performance from Man City. So, just if we are to look at the statistics again from the first half, Man City did dominate the affairs. They played much of the game in Crystal Palace's half, but they do find themselves a goal down at halftime. It's been 2 shots on target for Crystal Palace. One was by Stefan Ortega. It was a cheeky attempt by Ismail Sarr, and that was in the that was in about the 19th minute of the game, thereabout. So just 2 minutes after, or 3 minutes after the opening goal of the half had come from Crystal Palace typically doing their thing, where they build the ball from behind, or at least pretend to, and then they play that long pass into Joan Felipe Mateta, who holds up play, gets in the other players who come in, and before you know it, they're at your box, playing in a cross by Daniel Muniz, and then Ebelechi Ize lashes to it and buries the opportunity into the back of the net to give them a 1-0 lead. So, in terms of statistics, 2 shots on target for Crystal Palace, just for Manchester City. Off target, it's been 2 for Man City and 0 for Crystal Palace. Shots blocked, 2 for Man City and 1 for Crystal Palace. And Manchester City have dominated that possession with a whopping 81%. That is according to live score statistics, just a mere 19% for Crystal Palace. When you look at the corner kicks, Crystal Palace have conceded 8 corner kicks. Sorry about that. Yes, Manchester City have had 4 corner kicks, while Crystal Palace have had 0. So it's been quite a thrilling game. Daniel, hi Daniel, how are you? Welcome to the broadcast. Please like the broadcast. Much appreciated. But it's good to have you here, and I will be interested in knowing what country are you joining us from, Daniel. Daniel Agbogan. I hope I pronounced your name rightly. But quite impressive. The game we did witness in the first half. Ebelechi Ize, one of the key players of this Crystal Palace side, scoring, and then of course Omar Mamush, like I said, missing a penalty, or a penalty being saved by Dean Henderson there in this in the 36th minute. And the resultant penalty came from Tariq Mitchell's foul against Bernardo Silva. Yes, it was Tariq Mitchell that committed the foul against Bernardo Silva in the forbidden area, and they were awarded the penalty. Then there was another key moment, a sort of potential red card incident that involved Dean Henderson, has brought Erling Haaland lashed onto the ball. Dean Henderson, whilst managed to draw back into his area, pushed that ball away to the sidelines, and it appeared as though he had taken the action while he was out of the area, or the ball wasn't in the box, and that kind of thing. But according to a VAR review, it showed that he was right. You say, I'm a Manchester City. Oh, you're a Man City fan. Well, I do hope that fortunes change for you in the second half, because that first half, as much as you've been dominant, as much as you dominated all aspects of the game in terms of possession, shots on target, and that kind of thing, you've been not quite so lucky. Let's hope your chances change for the better in the second half. My prediction was that Man City will beat up against Crystal Palace by 2-1 or 3-1. At least Crystal Palace have scored, but let's see if Man City can bounce back in the second half and get one over the Eagles, because last season, I'm sure Pep Guardiola will be eager to avoid the incidences of last season where they lost to Manchester United by 2-1 in the finals of the same competition. Daniel says, thank you. You're welcome, Daniel. But I will be interested in knowing what country you're joining us from. But thank you for the love and support, and thank you for being with us here. So then in the 43rd minute, we did have Jeremy Doku force Dean Henderson in another brilliant save. It was an immaculate attempt, but once again, Dean Henderson rising to the occasion there to save the attempt. And that's why Crystal Palace still hold a 1-0 lead at halftime. Contrary to the probable lineups that we did have in the discussion, in the build-up and preview to this particular game, there have been quite some enormous changes in as far as Man City is concerned, as well as Crystal Palace in some respect. So, because for Manchester City, it's not Matthias Nunes at right back, it's rather Manela Kanji. Stefan Ortega did start in goal for Man City, whereas initially the probable lineup had included Ederson Morales. So Man City do have Stefan Ortega, Nick O'Reilly, Josh Covadiol, Ruben Diaz, Manuel Akanji, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Omar Mamouche, Jeremy Doku, Savinho, and brought Erling Haaland in their starting 11. And it was, I thought Kevin De Bruyne had a fairly good first half. I thought Savinho and Omar Mamouche struggled a bit to find their footing in the game. Despite Manchester City's domination, they've not imposed themselves on the game yet. Really, they've not found those, goal-scoring attempts on target just yet. And then, of course, it was Erling Haaland who had picked up the ball, and it appeared he was going to take the penalty, but then he surrendered the ball to Omar Mamouche. I do not know based on what, but it was what it was, and that penalty was saved. Then on the bench, Man City do have Ederson Morales, Jack Grealish, Nico Gonzalez, Ilkay Gundogan, Victor Reis, and Matthias Nunes, Claudio Echeverri, as well as Kushanov and Phil Foden. So if Man City want to switch things up, then they can look to bring on players like Phil Foden, players like Ilkay Gundogan in that midfield of the park, players like Jack Grealish. Never mind that it's not been one of his best seasons in a Man City shirt. On the side of Crystal Palace, they did start with Dean Henderson in goal, Chris Richards, Maxence Lacrosse, Mark Gay in a back three, then Daniel Munoz, Adam Wharton is back. Remember, the speculation was that he was nursing an ankle injury and would have likely missed the tie, but he's back in the starting 11. Daichi Kamada, Tariq Mitchell, Ismail Sarr, Ebelechi Eze, and Joan Philippe Mateta. On the bench, they do have former Arsenal goalkeeper in Matana, Joel Ward, Jefferson Nema, Edin Kecha, Nathan Elklaini, Will Hughes, Romain AC, Ben Chilwell, and Justin Devaney. So if they really want to switch things up, that's on the side of Crystal Palace. Then Jefferson Lama is one of those players they can look at in the terms of attacking midfield. Then Joel Watt is one of those that they can look to. Maybe Eddie Nketiah if Joan Felipe Mateta wears down and they need to, maybe they need to score another goal. So that's that in as far as their starting 11s and technical bench, how things look like. Meanwhile, we are back already for the second half. We are already back into the 46th minute of the game. So that action is back. Anyways, just briefly, Liverpool have agreed a deal in principle. Everything has been agreed for the transfer of Jeremy Frimpong. Remember, the German Bundesliga has closed today. That's when they had their final games of the German Bundesliga season. The season has concluded for them today, while that of the Premier League will conclude next week. But from the results in the German Bundesliga, where Bayern Munich, we all know, are already champions, Augsburg were beaten up by Union Berlin by 2-1. Borussia Dortmund beat up Holstein Kiel by 3-0. Borussia Mönchengladbach were beaten up by Wolfsburg by 0-0. Werder Bremen beat up against Heidenheim by 4-1. Freiburg beat up against Eintracht Frankfurt by 0-0. Hoffenheim lost to Bayern Munich by 4-0, while Bayer Leverkusen and Mainz were involved in a 2-2 draw. RB Leipzig lost to VfB Stuttgart by 3-2, while St. Pauli also lost to Bochum by 2-0. And that means that it's Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Borussia Dortmund that qualify for the UEFA Champions League, while Freiburg will have qualified for the UEFA Europa League, and Mainz will be in next season's UEFA Conference League. So that one has concluded. I think the French League One also does conclude. It does conclude, I think, today, and those games will come at 10 p.m. East African time later on. But we are back for the second half of the FA Cup final at Wembley, yeah. That's some of the biggest news making the rounds. For those of you that may be interested in those fixtures in the French League One, Lens will be up against AC Monaco. Lille will meet Reims. Lyon will be up against Angers. Olympique Marseille will be up against Stade Rennes. Nantes will be up against Montpellier. And Nice will be against Brest. Or Paris Saint-Germain will be up against Auxerre. Saint-Etienne will be up against Toulouse, while Strasbourg will be up against Le Havre. That's for the fixtures. All games kicking off at 10 p.m. East African time. And we are back for the second half. And yeah, so far, no major attempts really yet. Fans are still returning to this their seats, those that had gone for a halftime break and that kind of thing. But let's see, let's wait and see what the second half has to hold for us in as far as the FA Cup final is concerned. Excuse me, sorry about that. But like I said, Liverpool have agreed a deal with Bayer Leverkusen, and it's a here we go according to Fabrizio Romano. Here is what he had to say about the deal. He says, Jeremy Frimpong said to join Liverpool. Here we go agreement done for the Dutch right back, as Bayer Leverkusen are informed on the 35 million euro release clause being triggered. Understand Frimpong will sign a 5-year deal with medical now being scheduled. New right back for Liverpool. Remember, they're bringing in Jeremy Frimpong as the replacement for Alexander Trent-Arnold, who will be leaving the club at the end of the season to join Real Madrid, unless something significant, really significant changes. So we'll wait to see how that transpires in the coming days of the transfer window. So yeah, so let's wait and see how all that spans out. Anyways, allow me to let you go so that you can go enjoy the second half. Maybe we'll catch up at full time score. Bye bye.